Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Car Reviews podcast here on CollectorCarCanada.CA. Today we've got a wonderful 1984 Mercedes-Benz 380SL, top of the line for Mercedes in 1984. Very original car. The most beautiful thing about it is the odometer reads under 63,000 kilometers. Right now, 62,236, and there's a zero preceding that, so a 6-digit odometer. Before we dive right into the car, I just want to remind you, we also run the Collector Car Stories podcast. In case you haven't seen those, check them out on our YouTube channel. Those ones we also put on Spotify and Apple Podcasts in audio format only. These car reviews, the video is a critical component, so they're only on YouTube for now. So please do take a look at them. There's a dedicated link on the menu of our website. On a computer, top right, look for CCC podcasts. And on a phone or tablet, it's in the first menu drop down towards the bottom of that list. So this 1984 Mercedes-Benz 380SL, a convertible. We've got the hard top fixed into place right now for the video. There's also, so this hard top is removable manually, as they would have been for any hard top convertible back in the 80s. This car also has a blue soft top. So again, the mileage on this car, 62,236. You'll see photos of the odometer on our listing. But again, it's a 6-digit odometer, so no worries about it having rolled over, as they say, 062236. So to get started, I'm going to start the car, pop the hood, and maybe then head over and grab the camera and get a closer look at the engine. So here we go for a startup. Okay, key in the ignition, and here we go. Starts very easily. Goes right to a nice low idle. The tachometer reads about 600 RPM right now. So we'll pop out and I'll pop the hood here. And we'll get the camera up close to that engine to have a look and a listen. So here we are at the front of the car. As you saw, the hood's already popped. You can see it's open there. Interesting way of a hood release in here. If you're ever around one of these 80s Mercedes, you reach into the emblem here and you release it up there. So here's a look at the 3.8 liter V8. So small V8, but it is a V8 with the 3.8 liter displacement. Factory rated at 155 horsepower and 196 pound-feet of torque. So we'll get a close look, and there's the familiar emblem on the air cleaner. We'll look at the belts, the valve covers. Here's a good sense of what this engine sounds like. It idles easily. And let's head back now to the exhaust. We'll give that a listen. So there we go. I'm going to cut the engine here. And we'll shut that up, close up that hood. And we'll give the exterior a bit of a tour. You'll see all of these labels on our detailed listing for the car. Okay, so there we're shut down. Familiar front end here, so that's the North American headlight look. The European market cars had a flush headlight. Easy conversion if anyone is so inclined. Fog lights on this car. And the indicators. When we were shooting the photos of the car, we tested the lights and they all worked just fine. And in German, true German style of thinking of everything, when we tested the bright lights with the fog lights powered on, the fog lights powered off for when the brights were illuminated. And then of course we turned off the brights and the fog lights came back on. So those Germans think of everything. There's not much point of having fog lights if you need your brights, and vice versa. So here's the emblem that's right in the grille, and another beautiful 3-pointed star emblem at the front of the hood in the center. Nice chrome bumper with some black trim and bumperettes. I don't see any marks on those vinyl coverings. Not too surprising for a low mile car, under 63,000 kilometers again. Here's a good look at the front left wheel and tire. So I see Michelin on these tires, and these are called bunt wheels, B-U-N-D-T, the original for this car. The tire size on it is 205/70 with an R14. I'll have to ask the owner about this, but there's not enough tread for them to be the originals, but I believe these are the original spec tires for this car. When we get to the trunk, you're going to see a brand new unused bunt wheel with a full-size spare mounted, and it's a Michelin with the same size and the same kind of graphics. So I would expect the spare tire has never been moved for that trunk. Certainly it's unused, but the tire itself is a match and the wheel is a match for these ones, and you'll see when we get there, but it looks unused to me. So a little rub strip along the lower end of the side of the car with some ridges for styling. There's still chrome everywhere in the early 80s cars. Chrome on the mirror and chrome surrounding the windshield. I noticed not only the Security badge on the windshield, which I'm not sure if the camera will pick up, but we've got this quality control decal from Mercedes-Benz, leading me to believe that this is likely the original windshield. You'll see the pictures on the listing, but we've got Security glass on every pane. I believe these are the all original windows we replaced. Here's a look at the driver's side rear tire. Same size all around on the tires, 205/70 R14, so a square setup, and the matching bunt wheels all around. The car's got a power antenna to hook up to the original Becker radio with cassette, AM/FM cassette. There's a video on our listing showing the power antenna in operation, functional. And the familiar tail lights, which were, this is an R107 body code. Internally at Mercedes, you'd see these tail lights on the, certainly the W124 sedans, and even the S-Class sedans as well, the same style. So the idea behind these ridges you see on the lenses is that snow, dirt, debris won't stick to the entire surface of the tail light. So if you get some dirt on this part that ridges out, the lights are still going to be visible on the inside of the ridge. So it's a neat design in terms of cosmetics, but it also has a function as well. So there's the 380SL badge and a 3-pointed star on the end of the on the back of the trunk here. Matching chrome bumper in the rear with the vinyl trim, as well as the 2 smaller bumperettes on the rear. And again, I'm not seeing any marks on this bumper. And another look at the pretty tail light here. Fuel doors right here, no release on it, just do it manually. Pretty clean in there. Some information about tires on that label, and the unleaded gasoline only logo. So for me, it's neat to see all of these original decals still in place. You can even see a Mercedes 3-pointed star on the fuel cap, metal fuel cap, I might add. And you can see if we look closely that that's a convertible top. So that top is removable. We're not going to remove it for the video because the owner of the car inherited it from his father, and he's not entirely familiar with the operation of the roof, so we don't want to mess with it. And truth be told, it's been on for 5 years anyway, and there might be some drying up of the seals and gaskets, so they might be brittle and we don't want to damage them. So consider that when you're bidding or making an offer, that you might need to buy some rubber gaskets and seals. But a good look at the roof here. It's unmarked. I don't see any marks from it. One thing these do suffer from when the roofs themselves are in storage is that when people are riding off the top down, they don't care for the roof in storage. It might get scraped up, but I don't see any evidence of that here. Certainly we've sold 380SLs in the past, and that's something I always look for. Another more evidence that this might be the original windshield is this stock Daimler-Benz product sticker. Chrome mirror matching on the passenger side, and there's that front bunt wheel. 205/70 R14 on the Michelins all around. So that's a pretty good look at the exterior of the car, I think. Even I won't call them chrome, but metal on the wiper arms, unpainted metal on the wiper arms. So let's climb in, take a look. So here's a close look at that odometer, 062,236. So this car is going to its new owner with under 63,000 kilometers. On the inside of the door, there's a little map pocket, latch and lock. You don't see it crank because the power window controls are in the center here. Got an exterior temperature gauge, which is only operational when the car is running, as you can tell. And an original Becker Grand Prix electronic radio. I just pulled out a cassette, so you can see it's comes with a cassette player. That display does work when we power the car up. Maybe I'll power up the accessories so we can see these things lit up. I'm gonna close the door though, because the stock whine or warning of an open door on the Mercedes is pretty high pitched. So there's the radio with the clock built into it. Climate control, automatic climate control down here. You set your temperature this way and you make your selection here. This circle here is to power it off. So we'll do that. There's how you control the fan. We'll power that off. There's the key in the ignition. We'll include in the listing how many keys are on hand for the car. I don't have that information, but that's an original key to this Mercedes. And the shifter in front of, or behind rather, of perfectly clean ashtray. I even took out the cigar lighter earlier, and looks unused to me. So modern times for non-smokers, you've got a 12-volt outlet there. If you pull out that lighter, here's the automatic transmission, a 4-speed automatic transmission in this 1984 380SL. Power windows, as I already demonstrated. This is for power mirrors, and you got your 4-way flashers. Nice glove box. It's filled with some personal items, although some of the items are worth seeing. There's the original owner's manual and all the original books. There's a photograph of all of these on the original listing, or our detailed listing. And you can even see the Mercedes logo on this amazingly well kept vinyl plastic attaché for all the books. So 40 years old. I don't see any tears or cracks in the vinyl or plastic. It's amazing. So vents, there are 4 of these circular vents for the passengers. Got a speaker there for the Becker Grand Prix original radio. There's an armrest here that folds up, and on the original carpets are in place. On the passenger side, there's one of these protective carpets, so I don't think that's a Mercedes piece, but the original one's there. And in our detailed listing, we even pulled back these carpets so that you can see the metal floor underneath. So I'm not going to do it right now, but please take a look at our detailed listing to see photos of that. And there's a good look at the passenger door. There's also a map pocket over there, and basically a symmetrical equal of the driver's door. I'll pop out and we'll take a look at the rear compartment. There are no seats in the rear, just a two-seater for this 84 380SL with under 63,000 kilometers. Pop this seat up like so, get the seat belt out of the way, and yeah, so matching carpet in the rear. The first aid kit remains in place. I suspect it's original. I haven't opened it up, so I didn't check the condition of the materials inside. And matching carpets, of course, behind each seat. So we'll, oh, I should mention too, the material on the seats, it's not leather. Mercedes at the time, and for many years before and afterwards, was using a material called MB Tex. So I'd call it a little richer than vinyl, but it's not leather, and that might come as a shock to period Mercedes owners that their car is not leather interior. But MB Tex is the name of the material, and that's what was being used by Mercedes at the time. And you can see 40 years later, although this is a low mile car, but it really does stand up to wear. So working our way back, let's take a look at the trunk here. So trunk's released with this button, and turning that latch with the key kind of locks the trunk, of course. So the original tool roll is here. There are many tools here. They're unsorted. Certainly you could come up with a complete tool roll. There are more tools there than would have been in the tool roll originally. Not sure the originality of some of those tools. I would expect this and this and this to be original. Not sure about these wrenches. I suspect some might be replacements. These items are what you need to, these are dedicated tools to remove the hardtop. So we'll put those away. I did promise a look at this spare tire because it's pretty awesome. It's like a time warp looking at this spare tire. So I got the tool roll out of the way. Actually, incidentally, this is where the battery is. You'll find the battery underneath that cabinet. I think we can get at it. There's an interstate battery in place on this car. I'll worry about the latches when we're done the video, but I'll just get that out of the way in order to demonstrate or show off the spare tire. So we pull up this carpet, and there's a plastic cover over it. And there's a brand new bunt wheel. I think it was placed in this trunk in 1984. Hasn't moved since. So there's the Michelin marking on the tire. And the size, as I say, the same size that's on all four corners of the car right now. We did get some photos of the underneath of the car. I'll shoot a little bit of video of it. I'm not sure how it'll look on the video, but if you want to see the underneath, please do take a look at our detailed listing. But here's what the camera can see from the angle I'm at. 40 years later, and also original looking. I think it's safe to say that this is a fair weather car only, certainly no winters. I don't think it's even been caught in the rain. And here's the underside from the front end. Nice and clean. So I'll do one circle of this 1984 Mercedes-Benz 380SL, Mercedes R107 body. And then I'll jump back into the driver's seat with some concluding thoughts. But yeah, an amazingly original car with under 63,000 kilometers. There's the three-pointed star in the grille. So that's our look at CollectorCarCanada.CA lot 207, a wonderfully original 1984 Mercedes-Benz 380SL. Again, it's got the 3.8 liter V8 engine, factory rated at 155 horsepower and 196 pound-feet of torque. Really, take a look at the video. Please take a look at our gallery on the detailed listing. In wonderful original condition. Again, under 63,000 kilometers. And I really do think this car is going to make someone happy. Thank you for watching. Again, lot 207 on CollectorCarCanada.CA. We'll see you next time.